Am I the butthole for not letting my sister's boyfriend use hot sauce? Every Sunday my family rotates who makes dinner. One day it's my wife and I, the next time is my sister and her boyfriend, the next my mom and dad, and then finally my grandmother. With our busy lives, this day is important to us because besides holidays, we wouldn't be able to meet up and chat or eat without it. We come from an Italian family but are in Canada. My mom was born there, I was here. I take my food very seriously, especially Italian food, and double especially because my nonna is eating with us. I spent all day preparing dinner, and when we sat down to eat, my sister's boyfriend is humming and hawing saying my meal is missing something. He said he needs hot sauce and starts walking to my fridge. All I have is Frank's and sriracha. I like hot sauce, too, but I don't dare mix cuisines like that. So I stopped him, saying I'd appreciate if he enjoyed my meal as it is. He said it's no big deal, and in a way it isn't, but also in many ways it is. I told him at the very least, I have some Calabrian chili oil he can use, or dried chili flakes. Then it would at least still be Italian. He insists on sriracha, and I declined him. He escalated it and said he was going to go to the store and buy his own bottle and return if that's the case, and I said by all means. He left, we finished up dinner, and we called it an early night. Everyone is putting their coat and shoes on as he returns, and he's pissed. Was I the butthole? My sister is on my side if it matters, but this has been a fight all day yesterday between them because he wants my sister on his side, not mine. They've been dating only 3 months. Edit, if it matters, I made carbonara, bruschetta, and then for mains, which he didn't get to yet, was a seafood platter in red sauce. My wife and I are 34, 35 respectively, my sister and boyfriend are 23, 22 respectively. Everybody sucks here. Policing how someone likes their food is a bad look. My husband likes ketchup on his scrambled eggs. I think he must have a demon whispering lies into his ear. But that's his right to let the demon lead him astray. I like hot sauce, too, but I don't dare mix cuisines like that. You say this like you think you'll also invite a demon into your home. Chill. It's hot sauce. However, I feel like the boyfriend's comment something is missing is pretty rude on his part. All he'd have to say is that he prefers his food spicy. Critiquing the meal was uncalled for. I'm also pretty baffled by his insisting on going to the store to purchase hot sauce. That's just absurd. You'd think if hot sauce were such a priority, he'd keep it in his back pocket or something. Honestly, you both sound exhausting, and I feel bad for your sister. Edit, y'all, I'm well aware that ketchup on eggs is common. I just think it's evidence of demons on earth and that God has forsaken us all. And yet, I'd offer ketchup to my guests, since I don't discuss religion at the breakfast table. You're the butthole. I'm a 16-year veteran of the hospitality industry. I've worked in kitchens from dive bars up through multiple Michelin stars. I've opened many restaurants and took my first head chef position 8 years ago. People have different palates requiring different levels of seasoning. If a customer asks you for salt, you give it to them. If they request hot sauce, we make our own in-house and offer it as well. The arrogance and lack of gracious hospitality you've shown is mind-blowing. You're the butthole. You just sound pretentious and it kinda bugs me. You make a bland meal and prevent people from making additions? Do you control the salt and pepper too? Take it from an old-fashioned Italian mama with an Italian mama and 2 nonnas who came to the US through Ellis Island. You're an ass. Italian hospitality isn't just about the food. It's also about the comfort of your guests. I kinda wish I could spell the Italian words running through my mind, but it's probably best that I can't. You're the butthole. Am I the butthole for screaming at myself for eating my pregnancy craving and then being pissed she didn't replace it? English isn't my first language, so I might have trouble and there will be spelling errors. I, 35 female, and my husband, 32 male, have been trying to have a kid for 5 years, and I recently found out I was pregnant. So far I'm 25 weeks. My cravings recently kicked in and the only thing I want is literally Hawaiian pizza. Today I was craving it all day, so I got one from Papa John's and I also got some breadsticks. I had 3 slices and then decided to take a nap. I woke up at 7:50 and wanted to get another slice and some breadsticks. When I did, there was none left. I was reasonably upset as I had been craving it. I then asked husband and Sil which one of them ate my pizza. Sil admitted that she had eaten it and that she was hungry and pretty tired from work. Sil goes to work from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I screamed at Sil and told her to replace it immediately. Sil refused and said that I am acting ridiculous. I started crying and husband calmed me down and ordered me a pizza. Sil thinks I'm in butthole, so am I? What makes people think they can just eat other people's food? Not the butthole. Not the butthole. Who eats the rest of someone's food without asking, much less a pregnant person's? Probably didn't need to yell, but hormones are real. Edit, spelling. Am I the butthole for saying it's entertaining watching my sister try to live like a normal person? My sister and I grew up upper middle class. We had luxuries like a nanny and weekly housekeepers, but our parents made sure we knew how to take care of ourselves. When my sister was 20, she met Tom. Tom is from a very wealthy family and inherited 2 companies. My sister always wanted to open up a business and Tom supported her in opening her business. When she married him, she stopped having to cook, clean, or do anything for herself, and later her kids. They have a team of chefs, maids, nannies, butlers, etc. My husband and I are middle class. We just bought a little townhouse, our kids go to Catholic school, and we travel once or twice a year. We live a comfortable life but nothing too extravagant. My oldest niece, 12, has a genetic disorder and needs a major surgery. My sister, my niece, and a nanny flew into a city around 45 minutes from me and are staying here for 4 months. My sister rented a house across the street from the hospital and she and the nanny are alternating days at the hospital. The thing is, she now has to cook, clean, and shop for herself for the first time in years. I spent a day teaching her how to use all of the appliances in the rental and finding easy recipes for her to make for herself and my niece. My niece doesn't eat the hospital food. I drive to the rental once a week to check on my sister and she said she doesn't understand how people manage to cook and clean every day and that she either wants Tom to send some of their staff to help her or hire a temporary chef/housekeeper to take care of everything while they're here. A cousin asked how my sister is doing and I told her that she's struggling to take care of herself and my niece with only a nanny and admitted that it's kind of entertaining watching her try to live like a normal person. My cousin said I'm being cruel and that this life is all she's known for 18 years, so it's understandable that she's struggling. She told my parents, who are also mad at me for thinking it's entertaining watching my sister try to live like a normal person. Am I the butthole? I want to say NTA so badly, but maybe your sister would have an easier time managing regular life if she didn't have a sick kid in the hospital. You're the butthole. You're the butthole. You have no reason to feel this way. It comes across as jealousy that she has more money than you. Her daughter is so ill that she needs to spend 4 months in a hospital. She's a struggling mom dealing with a sick child. Might be wise to keep these thoughts to yourself in the future. Yeah, that's probably one of those thoughts that will have an element of truth, that didn't really need to be verbalized. Your cousin certainly didn't help, tattling to your parents. You're the butthole. Sure, you can say whatever you want in this world, just know there will sometimes be repercussions. Are you serious? You're the butthole. Her child is having major surgery and she's struggling with adjusting to a new way of living and you find humor in that? Disgusting. Am I the butthole for telling my sister when she was sent away it was the best day? So I, 19 female, have a sister 3 years older than me. When we were younger our dad passed away and our life got uprooted. We went from middle class to poor overnight. My mom did her best in those years. My older sister turned into a terror after he passed. From 11 to 16 years old she was awful. My mom took on more hours and debt to try to help her, but it all failed in the end. When she turned 16 my mom had enough and sent her away to one of those reform schools. There was finally peace in the house. It was great. When she came back she was a different person. Anyways, today her and my mom got into an argument about how she was a crap mom for sending her away. She claimed she was fine and that's when I told her the day she was sent away was the best day of my life and she really sucked back then. She was shocked and called me an ass. My mom just gave me a look and said I probably shouldn't have said that. No buttholes here. I know people who were abused at reform schools, so I can't say that it's a good idea to send your kids there. But your sister needs to know that she wasn't fine back then and that her behavior did impact your family. And I can't blame a struggling single mother for trying something drastic. Not the butthole. You probably shouldn't have said that, but your sister needed to hear it if she really thought she was fine before she was sent away. Next time maybe be more gentle. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter it's okay to use her mother for money? So, I used to be married to Judy, 36 female, and we have a daughter Scarlett, 13, together, fake names. Judy never wanted kids but I did and I assumed she did too. We had her and Judy completely changed. She wasn't caring toward Scarlett, they didn't bond and she blamed Scarlett for us losing our independence. About a year after, we had a divorce and she gave me everything. It did hurt me that she didn't even want to see Scarlett once a year even. She moved to Seattle months after, started running a business, got really fit. Her cousin told me she even got laser surgery to remove her stretch marks. Since then, Judy has moved to LA and divides her time between there, London, Mumbai and NYC. She has become a fairly famous influencer and socialite. I check her Instagram every now and then and she's been at parties with celebrities all over the world and truly seems happy. To her credit, every time her financial situation changed, she would come back and get our child support agreement changed to give more to Scarlett. Every time she'd come, she would spend time with Scarlett. She even kept it the same even though my new wife makes a lot more money than both of us and we don't need it now. About 3 years ago, she started calling more to talk to Scarlett. She would also come over more and every spring break, she comes for those 2 weeks. She phones every night unless she's in London, Mumbai or NYC, in which case she just sends a text. On New Year's, she was at some celebrity's party but still took the time to phone. Now, I'm not saying that this makes up for anything but she has been a presence in Scarlett's life. Well, we just found out that Judy's grandfather is very ill and he's going to pass away within a month, maybe early March at best. So, she's going to India for spring break for his funeral and has requested to take Scarlett with her. I'm fine with that, my wife is fine with that. However, Scarlett got really upset at the idea of spending 2 weeks in India. I pointed out her mom will take her to all the nice places, she'll get to see great things, meet that part of her family. But she said that it's not fair. So, I pointed out that at the very least, she can get whatever she wants out of her mom in those 2 weeks. My wife overheard and said I was in butthole for telling Scarlett that it's all right for her to use her mom for cash since she has barely been in her life. I pointed out I didn't say that, but we argued and since then, I realize what I said kind of did amount to that. Was I the butthole? Edit, Judy never told me she did not want kids. She allowed me to believe she did. If I knew she didn't, we would never have gotten married. You're the butthole. If Scarlett doesn't want to go, don't make her go. Advocating for taking advantage of her mother is crafty. You managed to land not one, but 2 decent women. I cannot for the life of me understand how. You're the butthole. Scarlett got really upset at the idea of spending 2 weeks in India. Your kid doesn't want to go to India with someone she barely knows / Why would you push her on that? You're the butthole she doesn't want to go. When women tell you no, do you ever listen? Am I the butthole for forbidding my sister to meet my child and telling my wife to butt out of the situation? So the judgment is pretty much exactly as the title suggests. I will provide context though. So I, 28 male, have been married to my wife for 4 years and we have a 2-year-old son together. My older sister Ariel has 2 kids with her husband. She is my only sibling but we do not speak and haven't since my wedding 4 years ago. My wife knew I had no relationship with my sister or mother whenever we got together but now it's causing an argument. We were a pretty typical family until my mom cheated my senior year of high school with a coworker. My dad moved out immediately and I moved with him. This caused the rift between me and my sister. My sister believed since my mom was sorry and it was a one-time thing, as she claimed which I don't for a second believe, and was trying to reconcile through the church that me and my dad's refusal to speak with her was somehow wrong. I was 18 and my sister was 20. Long story but eventually my sister stopped speaking with my dad. I haven't seen my mom since 2016 and we have only spoken once since in 2019 when she tried to invite herself to my wedding. She was not invited but my sister was out of courtesy. My sister didn't show up and we have not spoken since. My wife knew when she married me that my only family was my dad and my cousins. She said it was okay and she didn't care. So a few months ago my wife got a call from my sister's husband. I've never met him, and he said that he wanted to start mending the bridge and would like to have me come meet their kids. I said no. Well then my sister started sending pics of her kids to my wife and my wife sent pictures back. I told her multiple times I did not like this and she told me she could send pics to whoever she wants. I said that if she keeps testing my boundaries she will be a single parent really soon. That she signed up for me as is. My wife is saying it's wrong to deprive my son of his family. I said I don't even have a relationship with my sister or brother-in-law so why should my kid? That doesn't make me feel comfortable at all and I don't even know these people. Also any pic she sends could easily be forwarded to my mom and she needed to think about that. She said she doesn't even understand why my mom can't meet her kid and that comment alone pissed me off because I've explained my family drama for years and it feels like she just ignored it. I said she really needs to think about who she wants to appease because I'm not gonna stand for disrespect of my boundaries. My dad totally agrees with me and is telling me I should start setting aside money now for exit strategy. Because my wife's behavior is exactly how my mom used to act and I should see the warning signs now. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. This was all clearly defined at the beginning of your relationship. Why does she even care? Follow your dad's advice. This is definitely above Reddit's pay grade. You need to seek out therapy for your parents' divorce, and couples counseling for you and your wife. My completely uneducated opinion is that it seems like your father weaponized your emotions against your mother, and he's using those same emotions to drive a wedge between you and your wife. She crossed a line, but your father should stay out of it. You're now issuing relationship-ending ultimatums over a couple pictures . She's not blameless either. You guys need to seek some help to process this. Going no contact with your mother over her infidelity seems way too harsh. But again, therapy. Edit, struck out wording that minimized what wife did. Edit 2, read ops later comments. Am I the butthole for telling my neighbor to F off after she demanded I clean her house? English is my second language, so I apologize in advance for any mistake. I am a Latina woman married to an American man. We live in a small community in Florida where most people are nice and kind to me. For context, I love cleaning. I like trying new products just for fun. A couple of times I've offered to clean other people's houses, free of charge, just to help them. Among of them, a widow who recently lost her husband of 50 years. A neighbor who had a baby and has a 3-year-old daughter. Another neighbor who had a car accident. I go to their houses and I clean for them once or twice a week. A few days ago I was sitting on my couch when I heard someone knocking on my door. It was odd because we have a doorbell. I opened the door and this lady, around 40 years old, whom I've seen just a couple of times, said, "It took you a while to open the door." I looked at her like I didn't understand what she just said and I only mumbled, "Huh?" She then asked me in the most entitled tone, "I want to know, when are you going to clean my house for free?" At this point I was trying not laugh and I just asked her, "Why would I do that?" She then proceeded to mention all the houses in the neighborhood I've cleaned and she wanted to know why I haven't been to her house yet. She then yelled at me, yelled loud enough to make my next door neighbor to come outside to see what was going on. She was yelling at me because I wasn't replying to her. I was still trying to process how on earth this woman thought she had the right to come to my house and demand that I clean her house, for free. I just said, "I am never going to clean your house. I am not the neighborhood's maid, I've only helped a few people." She then demanded that I help her. At this point I had enough, so I just said frick off and I closed the door. Later that day when my husband got home, she ran to him and told him I am a rude person and how I yelled at her. When I explained him what happened, he told me I shouldn't have talked to her like that and next time I should be nicer. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. Your husband really is though? Is this an isolated incident or does he belittle you a lot? Not the butthole. Maybe you should tell your husband to F off too, and while you're at it, stop cleaning houses for free. You are not the help. If you keep doing that, that's all they will view you as. Am I the butthole for saying sorry I forgot you were my grandma to my grandma? Hi, this happened fairly recently, but I was told I was in butthole, so I wanted a neutral opinion. Context: I, 16 female, have always been the only grandchildren along with my, 17 female, sister. Because of this our grandparents spent a lot of time with us. Recently however my uncle and aunt had 2 kids. Toddlers ATM, now on to the story. Recently a close cousin of ours passed away. Her funeral was 2 days after my birthday and 1 day after an orthodontist appointment of mine. This orthodontist appointment made it so it hurt to eat any food that wasn't soft. Relevant later. Anyway, we went to the funeral and after that to the burial. Some of my grandma's family was buried there and so she asked me and my family to look for them and take photos of their graves for her. We did, but this took us about 1.5 hours so. When we finally got to the celebration of life, the food was not only cold but almost all gone. Now my uncle and his oldest toddler were with us at the cemetery too, so they arrived at the celebration of life with us. It's also worth mentioning I hadn't really eaten anything all day except some snacks. So being that it was 2 o'clock I was hungry. So I got food that was easy to tear apart and went to sit down. My grandma had my uncle's toddler and all of a sudden started taking my food to give to him. Mind you, I told her I couldn't eat much because my mouth hurt. Well, she ended up giving all the food I could eat to my baby cousin, leaving me hungry. When I got upset, my grandma said, "Sorry, I forget you're my granddaughter." I won't lie, that hurt and I didn't talk to her for the rest of the day. Anyway, we were at my uncle's house 2 days after and she asked me to do something for her, and in my genius moment I said, "Okay, first name, I can do that." When she stared at me in confusion, I finally said, "Oh, sorry, I forgot you were my grandma." In front of one of my aunts and my grandpa, not her husband. I could tell she tried to laugh it off, but it bothered her. I was told by my aunt I should apologize because I needed to be respectful, and that wasn't, but I still haven't apologized and don't plan to unless I really am in the wrong. So Reddit, am I the butthole? Not the butthole. Of all the responses she could have given you after taking your food, she went for the one that was the worst. I'm so sorry, and as for respecting her, it's a two-way street. Not the butthole. You gave your granny just the medicine she needed. Just because they are older doesn't make them right, and the whole bullcrap about respect. No, you have to earn respect, you don't just get it. Granny clearly was in the wrong here. She should apologize to you, or at least tell you she understand why her comment hurt you. Not the butthole. If she can forget you are her grandchild, you can forget she is your grandmother. Am I the butthole for telling my fiance that he needs to pick a new best man? My fiance, Kevin 28 male, and I 30 female, had initially planned to get married a few years ago, but due to the fact that the world was falling apart, we postponed it until things calmed down and our family felt safer at a big event. We've now set a date for this coming August, and as we get closer, more and more thoughts keep coming to me about how it should go. My biggest issue is that Kevin's best man is no longer his best man and is now his best woman. Kevin and Amy MTF 26 have been friends for a little over a decade, and when they first met up until 2 years ago when our wedding was supposed to happen, Amy identified as a man. Kevin and Amy have always had a very close, almost sibling-like relationship. Kevin had been kicked out by his mom at 17 and met Amy at work shortly after. She's been very close with him, and he's told me multiple times that she is the closest thing he has to any family. Initially, Amy had planned to not come out to Kevin until after the wedding, but after finding out that the wedding was going to be delayed, she came out to him. Without consulting me, Kevin told her that he was fine with all of that, and that if she was at a stage where she'd like to wear a dress when our wedding happened, that he would find her a dress that matched the colors he had for his groomsmen. Amy has been medically transitioning for about a year or less now, and Kevin told me that we need to find her a dress. I don't have a problem with Amy, and I understand how close she is to Kevin, but our wedding is largely for my very traditional family. Kevin has often said that this wedding isn't that important to him, and that the only reason he's doing it is because it's important to me and my family. I know that my family would have a lot of issue with Amy, which I'm sure would bring a lot of unwanted or outright rude attention towards her. For this reason, I've asked my fiancé to choose someone else to be his best man and request that Amy attend as just a guest. This has led to a large fight between the two of us, with Kevin threatening to cancel the wedding if Amy can't be part of the wedding party because he wants someone from his family in it. I'm trying to get him to understand the issues this will cause, but I'm not sure he gets it. Am I the butthole? You're the butthole. This is incredibly transphobic. Amy is his best friend, and when your fiancé chooses her as his best man, you have to respect that, and so does your family. Your family is the problem, not Amy. And you should hold your fiancé's back and support his decision if you want your relationship to last. You're the butthole. Think carefully about what beliefs you're trying to protect here. Am I the butthole for telling my girlfriend she's not allowed to tell my daughter what to do? I've been with my girlfriend for 3 years, but she only moved in with me 6 months ago. I'm a widower, so I wanted to make sure that our relationship was serious before I was okay with her moving in with me and my daughter. Generally, they get along pretty well. I told my girlfriend at the very beginning of our relationship that I wasn't looking for a stepmom for my daughter. She's old enough that she doesn't need a new mom. Last weekend I went camping with one of my mates for 2 days, and my girlfriend stayed home with my daughter. I knew my daughter was going to a party on Saturday, and I already agreed to it. But when I came back from my camping trip, my daughter complained that my girlfriend told her she had to wash her makeup off and do one that's less provocative before she could leave the house. I got angry at my GF and told her she wasn't allowed to order my daughter around, and she wasn't allowed to prevent her from doing anything that I already agreed to. We had a huge fight, and since then we barely talked. Am I the butthole in this situation? Edit. My daughter is 16. She doesn't need a babysitter, and my girlfriend isn't my daughter's stepmom or guardian. She's my girlfriend, that's it. If daughter is as old as I think she is, then not the butthole, but how could you leave out her age? Seems pretty relevant. Not the butthole. I seriously don't understand the why Tia replies here. Your daughter is 16, and you made it clear with your GF she is not going to be a mom figure in any way whatsoever. It's not her place to talk about that, and especially the taking of the makeup thing. What is that all about? Is she really tramp shaming your daughter here? Not the butthole. Daughter is 16 years old. He didn't leave his daughter there to get babysat. OP's GF was overstepping, yes.